Hi and welcome back to the shop. I'm Jessica. Today we are going to be learning about hammering technique and stance up the anvil, since this is a problem that beginners seem to deal with. I'm ready. Let's talk about it.
All right. So I'm going to diagnose a little bit of some of what Jessica was doing with her hammer form. And a lot of people do this exact same thing. And I'm just going to go into it as she hammers here. I'm going to point it out as she's doing it. She's going to hammer like she was normally doing it. And then we're going to make a few adjustments and we're going to see how much harder she can hit and how she feels about it. Now, she's not going to just say, right, you're not just going to give me all kudos because I'm your husband, right?
No,
like,
no, of course not.
Yeah, I bribed her to say that. Anyways, go ahead, Jess.
All right.
Go ahead. Swing like I'm not even here. So, if you see, one of the main problems of the way that she is hammering right now is that the fact is that she is only using her elbow joint here. She is using that same elbow joint and this muscle right here to not only forcefully throw the hammer down, but also to pick all the weight of that hammer back up.
My wrist is getting a little tired, yeah.
So the wrist is starting to get tired, and it's the wrist that is taking a big beating here, okay? This forearm's getting swollen up, and this is going to get sore on her. But it's right here in this wrist joint, this is getting her all of her give. Every time that hammer hits, it rocks her wrist back in this direction. Every time she throws the hammer back down, she whips her wrist back in that direction as she comes down. And so it's like that.
Jarring, yeah.
It's very jarring, and it's all right in this wrist and up here into the elbow. And all that kinetic energy from the hammer is going right up, and it's going through the elbow here. And so we need to take and prevent that on the next heat.
Okay. Stick this back in.
Yep, so you get that back in there. Get it good and hot. So one of the other things that I see a lot of people doing whenever they're first getting started in blacksmithing in their hammer form, and I see a lot of guys do this even after they've been at it for a while, which they shouldn't, and it's just going to end up catching up with them, is they use with an elbow out technique. Now Jessica started doing this originally until I corrected her about it. And so it's where you're sticking your arm out like this, you're getting your elbow here, and you're more rotating at the elbow, like so.
Yeah.
Okay?
Let me turn towards the camera so they can see that.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, you're rotating at
like
the
a
elbow.
90 degree.
Yeah. Now, when you do this, the reason why you're prone to do this is usually if you feel like you're trying to get a little more height out of something for some reason, instead of rolling your arm with your elbow up to the sky like this to get more height out of it, or reaching for the sky up here, what you start doing is you start lifting your elbow thinking that you're actually getting more height out of the hammer when you are not. Your hammer stays in the same plane. You're never lifting it any higher. You're just putting your elbow and your arm in a compromising position. And now that's a super exaggerated thing, but you want to keep your elbow tucked into your body and bring that elbow straight down, like so, as you come down.
All right.
So I'll let you hammer again.
All right.
Is it good and hot?
I think it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Yep. So again, you can see her using mainly just the elbow. She's trying to stiffen the wrist here and hammer away. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change this up.
Okay.
We're going to change this up to where, stay put,
Okay.
grab the hammer.
Okay.
Okay? We're going to change this up where she's going to loosen up her grip. Okay? She's going to lift the hammer this way into her body. She's going to let it come up here, and then she's going to pull the hammer down. boom.
Almost like a kind of a camming action.
It's like a camming action.
But
so I'm going
the elbow out here, stay close to the body.
Yeah. So let me show you how that looks.
Okay.
Let me show you how that looks in practice. So Jessica, step over there, please.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how that looks in practice. So we're going to come up with the hammer and down. So we're going to use our arm in its full motion, its full range of motion. Most of our grip is done in your pointer and your thumb. Pointer finger and your thumb. That's where all the grip mostly is. And that's really just to hold on to the hammer. It's not going anywhere. So we're going to come up with the hammer and we're going to come down with a snap. It's that bringing it up here and pulling it down, that jerky snap of you pulling your arm down, that provides that extra little whip to the hammer. And again, you're just trying to guide this hammer. You're wanting the hammer and the anvil to do the work. You just want to provide motion or energy to the piece and hammer like that. So Jessica's going to do that. One of the other things you want is a very up, straight posture form. You don't want to have your legs all sprawled out like this. Like you see people, you don't want to be straddling the horn and doing this action. You don't want to do any of that garbage. That's all going to wear you out and eventually make you a poor and crooked smith. So don't do that. Get Jessica back in here.
So also with the bending over, that kind of has to do with the anvil height being correct for you, doesn't it?
Yeah. If your anvil height is too high, again, you're going to feel like you need to reach up here to hammer on things. If it's too low, you're going to be like you're trying to swing way down at your ankles, and so therefore you'll overextend. You'll underextend if it's too high, you'll overextend if it's too low. That's why you want the anvil to be at knuckle height while they're standing beside your sides there. Yeah. Jessica's a little shorter than I am, so it's almost right there on the knuckles, but it's almost a good height for her. Keep it going, get it good and hot.
Alright, good and hot.
Yep.
Good and hot. Now also, which way should the anvil be oriented if you don't have a double horn?
The anvil, that's a matter of personal preference. I like my anvils with the hardy hold to the left. I hammer mostly with my right arm, and so therefore if I ever forget the hardy on the left, it's not in danger of damaging my fingers on my hammering hand. Some guys like them to the right, left, really doesn't matter. It's a personal preference.
Okay, hot.
Is it good and hot? Yep. All right, we're going to adjust your grip and do it again.
Okay.
So just focus on the big part.
Okay.
Hammer. Nope. Rotate your elbow forward.
Forward.
You're still back up.
Okay.
Out here. Back up. You're going to roll it like this.
Okay. Oh.
You're being afraid of hitting Olga. She's okay. Just aim and hit. Hit it like you were mad at me. Okay, as you can see here, she's not rolling her shoulder. She's having a tendency to kick that elbow out. So that's a hard thing to do. It's one of those things, okay, as a beginner, it's one of those things that you have to constantly keep telling yourself, okay, quit doing that. Put that in. Keep it near. Need to roll the shoulder. Need to work the shoulder and the arm all at the same time. Shoulder and the arm all at the same time. What happens to every beginner is you get trying to be so focused on getting it accurate at the anvil that you start trying to push the material down, and so you start raising that elbow and you start hitting like this, and that's just going to lead to injury. So
okay, heat and try again.
Heat and try again.
Practice, practice, practice.
Practice, practice, practice. So we'll come back with y'all here in just after a little bit, once Jessica's had a little bit more practice, and we'll see how she's swinging then.
Alright, sounds good.
So now how do you feel about it, Jess?
I felt pretty good. As Roy mentioned, this particular hammer I'm using is a little bit underweight for 1/2-inch stock, but I do feel like I'm able to swing it easier. And I've definitely got to work
Lower
on
this hand down.
Okay.
There you go. Lower that hand down. There you go. Good.
Okay. And I definitely have a lot of room to go on hammer accuracy.
Yep.
But I can feel when there's a good hard blow on the steel.
Yep. So one of the things I want to point out here, a lot of beginners do this, and Jessica, you definitely no exception, and I was no exception either. So hammer accuracy and hammer form are totally two separate categories. You need to practice both. Hammer accuracy, I've done a video, we'll leave a link to that up here somewhere in the corner. I did a whole video on how to improve hammer accuracy, and that was shown to me by a guy by the name is Dennis Gilkey, and he was over at Touchstone Center for Crafts. And one of my first formal education on how to hammer and how to hammer properly came from him. And so, again, you draw an X on your anvil, basically, and then you hammer until that X is gone. So you make it out of a bit of soapstone and use a soft face hammer, and you hammer the heck out of it until that little X is gone, and you keep doing that. You keep aiming for those crosshairs. Watch the whole video. It was a good video. I showed you how to do it, and just watch that video. But so what happens is when you're trying to work on your form, you'll find that your hammer accuracy suffers, or you feel that it will, because something that Jessica was doing is when I told her to just, concentrate on putting your blows where they want and let the hammer do the work, she started tensing up, and she started not letting the hammer actually do the work. She started tensing up and putting that hammer out in front of her, and just starts kind of eyeballing the hammer to the piece. And I bet a lot of you are doing that out there. Don't do that. Watch what happens after you hammered with one blow. You hit it, it'll leave a bump. Then hit it in the same spot, but move the piece slightly. And that's how you constantly move it. As I was told by Dennis Gilkey, this is labor, this is management. This does all the work, this tells how the work will be done. Okay? So you want to labor with your hammer blows constantly like this. That is non-hurting or non-damaging to your body, with good straight hammer blows like this, and you want to manage what you're doing here. So you can do it over here, over here, over here, or even if you're standing here. It's all the same. It's all the same technique. It's all the same hammer blows. I'd have my back to you. Or any weird angle you can think of, you want to stand and do the same technique. If you do that, you will save yourself a lot of wrist, elbow, and shoulder pain in the long run. So Jessica, you did real good.
Thank you.
I'm quite proud of her.
Yeah.
At the next quad stage, she's going to kick everybody's butt in the forging competition, huh?
I don't know.
No? I still haven't convinced her to go
practice.
yet. Still got a year of practice, huh?
Yeah.
No, yeah. So, anyways, I can't tell whether you're in camera shot or not. You should come over this way.
There.
So,
no, I should be.
I think we are. Anyways, that's it for today, right?
Yes, that is.
Forging with Jess. Thanks for joining us. Hope some of you all found that helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And until next time,
we will catch you on the next one.
God bless you all. Bye.